Okay, you're on.
Chris Alcoholic.
Hey, Chris.
So, thank you, Mikey, for asking me to do this. I share at a lot of different places. I go to a lot of different halls, and like most of the halls that I go to, and I end up like sharing during the meeting. Somebody will walk up to me and ask me, "Hey, will you speak on this day? Hey, will you speak on this day?" You know, and the way I was taught is that I'm not allowed to say no. So, I've spoke at a lot of different halls, and I've done a lot. I do a lot of service work, but we'll get back to that in a minute. I got sober March 22nd, 2010, and that date's very familiar to me because that's also the day I got pulled over in a stolen car with a bag of methamphetamines and a bottle of 151, and my girlfriend was on heroin, and my kid was taken by CPS. We lost our 2-year-old to CPS, and my life was over. You know, my life was over. I went to county jail, and I tried to kill myself in county. And right before I was able to jump off the pipe with the noose around my neck, God called for an AA meeting down in this room. There's a PA system above me. There's a little screen where the guard can speak through. But, you know, like right what I was about to do, I didn't know anything else rather than, okay, I guess I'm going to go to this meeting and I'll do this later. I knew it was guard, but like at the present moment of like me about to just kill myself, and like I just said, all right, that must be a sign. So I went to this meeting down in county, and this guy was like, "Chris, I'm so glad to see you." And I'm like, "What? Who are you? And how do you know me? Why are you glad to see me? Nobody here is glad to see me." And he was like, "Well, I met you when you went down to answer phones, the Central Service Office in Tacoma is what they call it there." And I was like, "Okay, I kind of remember that." It's like, "So if you come back next week, I'll bring you one of those little 12 and 12s and the little 164 big book." So I put off hanging myself to the next week because I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to bring the book. But he did. And I carried that little book with me. I didn't hang myself. I carried that little book with me to my main institution when I left there. And from there, I met a guy on the yard that somehow saw me going to these meetings. I went to the AA and the NA meeting every week. Just, I don't know, get out of my room, but to hear something positive, I don't know why I went. I went, and I went every week. And this guy saw me going to the meetings. He didn't go to the meetings, but he was doing a life sentence, and he wanted to sponsor me. So I was meeting with him once a week in the library. I did 28 months in Spokane, and worked steps with this guy. You know, of course, I worked 11 to 12 because I couldn't work the 12. And when I got out, I moved into an Oxford house. And like from what I knew about Tacoma is that I sold drugs to most of the houses that I knew of that were clean and sober. But this Oxford, I had never heard of Oxford. So I tried this Oxford number, and this guy answered, and they did a phone interview on me, and they accepted me into the house. And I was like, sweet. Because I wasn't able to go back to where I usually go, which is my mom's house, whenever I go to an institution, which I did this a lot. I would go back to my mom's house. She was the only one that would let me back in. But while I was in prison, she fought for custody of my child, and there was a protection order against me and my child, so I wasn't able to go to my mom's. So I had to find a place somewhere else to go, and I got into this Oxford house. And the day I got out of prison, the guy that re-entered me into the house got loaded, and so I'm putting $20 in this payphone, and he's not answering. He finally picks up, and he gives me the house number, and I call the house, and the guy's just like, "Come, just come to the house." And I'm like, it's gonna be a 3-hour delay. I won't get into Tacoma until midnight. Just come to the house. So I get into Tacoma at midnight. My other 2 children were brought to me, and I got to see them for the first time in 28 months, and that was great, you know. And I was all excited, and you know, I actually got a guy on the Greyhound bus like reached in his duffel bag and pulled out a big old handful of weed and said, "Here, you just got out of prison." And I was like, "Yes." No. And I just gave it to the guy that I got out with because I knew I'd take a UA at this house. But I get to the house and I'm all excited, and this guy's just like, "Come on in, get a blanket and a couch cushion, go sleep in the shared room." But I guess everybody else, except for that guy, thought I was loaded when I got to the house. And they did another UA on me in the morning and another interview on me in the morning, and waited for the results to come back, which were clean. This is the first time that I got out of an institution and I didn't get loaded. Like, I was just saying that I don't want to get loaded until after I take a UA, because I want to take this UA and, you know, work on getting my kid back. that was my game plan, was get my kid back, then I can live my life, right? So I'm in this house. I'm not only in the house, but I'm like I have to have a position in the house, you know. So, you know, I get a position in the house, then I go to this chapter meeting, and I get a position in chapter, and then I'm like walking. One of the first days I got out, I was walking down Pack Highway, and I went to Fred Myers, and Fred Myers said, "You're not allowed here." I'm like, "I did 2 years in prison. I'm still not allowed at Fred Myers." Okay, so I walked a little further down the highway, and there was a 7-Eleven. And I walk into 7-Eleven, and they said, "You're not allowed here." And there was a picture of me behind the counter. I guess I robbed the place or something. I don't know. But so I was like, whatever, you know. Everywhere I called, they said, "Quit calling here. You're not allowed here. Lose my number, my family." You know, everywhere I went, they said, "You're not allowed here." You know, and I kept walking down that highway, and there was this little house on the side of the road. I knew it was an AA meeting, but I walked in, and they were like, "Come on in. We got a chair for you. Got some coffee over here." All these happy people trying to hug me and give me their phone numbers, and I'm like, "Wait a minute. Everybody else tells me to leave, and you guys are telling me to come in, and everything's cool. What's going on in here?" Like, that part, like, I was just like, I don't know, you know, I don't know. But there was something that I did, like, everybody was laughing and having little chats and stuff, and that pissed me off. What's so funny? Are you laughing at me? You know, at that moment? Or is there something funny about me? But, you know, there was also something else to that laughter. You know, it's like, I wanted to do that. I wanted to laugh. So I was attracted to that as well, and so I've been going to AA since I was 16 years old. Corridor, DOC, everybody else's reasons. But this time it was like my own reason, and I walked in on my own. And like, I've read the 164 numerous times, and it's like stereo instructions, and I don't understand the literature, and I have a really hard time reading as it is. But the way they word things, like, made it really difficult. Anyway, so I got this guy that's called the sponsor, and he read me the doctor's opinion, And I didn't know that books are supposed to start before page one. I didn't know any of that. I've never read books, you know. I wasn't a book smart person. So when he read the doctor's opinion to me, like I'm like, oh, okay. That's why all that stuff says that, right? You know, the doctor's opinion explains pretty much the rest of the book, right? The rest of the stuff that I couldn't figure out was in the doctor's opinion of like, that's what it's talking about. And so when he read that to me, and I got working on steps with this guy, and I got my kid back from CPS. Um, but there was something different. There was something different. Like I was attracted more to this than to even going back out and doing what I wanted to do. I was feeling good about myself. Like I was able, like after 3.5 years working steps with a sponsor, 4 different sponsors, I finally got a fifth step out. And this fourth sponsor, I finally got this fifth step out to. After I did 6 and 7, I was finally able to look at myself in the mirror and be proud of the guy I looked at. And that took that long for me to do. And like when I got to that point, there was no like going back from that. Like I wanted more of this. I wanted to do the rest of the steps. And then I get to 12, and I'm like, okay, 12 is the one that I relapsed on last time, because I don't think that I have what it takes to be a sponsor, you know. And I went through those guys that just wanted my number, right? They got loaded. It's my fault. This guy got loaded. It's my fault. My sponsor's like, no, it's not your fault. You stayed sober through it, right? Yes. Well, then you did your job. Okay. And it went on like that, and then this great man that sponsors me today was my sponsor originally, um, and there's certain things that this guy does. It's from a great line of people down at North End Newcomers. Um, Bob Haas is my great grand sponsor. Like there's a pamphlet that we give to the new people that says some things on the pamphlet. It's a sponsorship pamphlet, and it's got your number on it, and it's got some pages. It's got some instructions on it, and you just give this stuff out to new guys. And then there's also some things, right? There's some things that my sponsor does that he didn't tell me to do any of these things, and I don't tell these guys to do anything, by the way. Like these are just suggested and things that I do, and that they see me doing, and that they want to do that too in order to be. And that's where I learned it. My sponsor did these things. He didn't tell me to do these things. I just would watch him work with guys and how he did it. And I started doing that with guys, and this is how it works. So I'm not learning anything when my sponsor teaches me. I'm just learning how he teaches me, right? I didn't know that at first. I thought I was learning the secret of AA. No, he's just teaching me how to sponsor men. And then when I go sponsor men, I learn who I am. I get to learn who I am through each guy that I work with. And then each guy that I work with gets to work with another guy that gets to learn who they are, right? And this is what Alcoholics Anonymous is to me. It's not going to a meeting and sharing my experience, strength, and hope. It's not up here speaking in front of you guys. It's not, birthday night getting my coin, or, celebrating my time or any of that. It's when I'm across the table with another man and we're opening up the book. I call it getting naked, because we're revealing stuff that we wouldn't normally reveal with each other. And when me and my guys get naked, it's serious. It's life and death. It's our journey. We get to go on this together. It's not. I don't play games in Alcoholics Anonymous. There's so many people that are dying. I had a friend jump off a third-story balcony last week because the, the the mental part of the addiction, right? And it's just that part where like they don't know whether they're one of us, right? They don't know. They don't think they're one of us. That's how I was when I got here. I don't think I'm one of you. You guys don't understand, right? You don't know where I've been. You do know where I've been. You do understand. It took a long time for me to like let you guys in. Uh, Honesty, like honesty is like trusting you. That's honesty for me. Like I can't be honest until I trust you, and that was a hard one for me to do. Is because I just didn't grow up trusting strangers, right? I just think that's not how I was raised on the streets. So coming in here and being naked with you guys, or being vulnerable, or being open to anything of like, this is what it looks like. This is what my life looks like. It's a wreck. It's a mess. Why would I tell strangers that, right? But when I started doing that stuff, my life got so much better. Like, you know, my step work got better. My everything got better. It was like I was putting these circles in these squares and like these stars in these circles, and I just couldn't get anything to slide in right. And then when I started letting you guys in and showing you guys what was inside of me, everything just started fitting in place. You know, I owed so much money, and I just put my sponsor made me go down to these places. By the way, Ninth Step isn't just like people. Like my sponsor brought me to courts and to judges and to, you know, these are the people that you need to start paying. And I did. I started paying these people, and eventually, like today, that stuff's gone. Like 10 years ago, but like the reality was is I was scared of the stuff that was holding me back from life, and when I just started doing a little bit of it at a time, not all of it at once, but just a little bit at a time. It started working, and you know, my life. I went from that girl that I got arrested with that was shooting heroin in my passenger seat. She's 13 years clean and sober. Is now a registered nurse. We got her kid back. 2 years ago, we got married. I just got back from the spring fair with all three of my daughters and my grandson. You know, and talk about we get to. These are the things that I get to do today. You know, I had three girls, and man, gave me they gave me a lot of stuff, right? As a father, but I'm watching my grandson give all this stuff to my daughter. And man, that's the miracle of life, right? It's like, yeah, I had girls, but you got a boy. Like, yeah, just know Grandpa's here if you ever need to take care of it, right? So I want to get back to the story. Like I'm only here. It's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. I don't. I found my higher power through Alcoholics Anonymous. I found God through the book. So my program goes to program, God, and everything else. Because without the program, I didn't have God, and I didn't have anything else. So I start my day off in the morning. My sponsor had me reading 81 to 88 every day, and I didn't understand why. And today I live 81 to 88 every day, and I still read those pages. My sponsor had me reading page 417 when I got angry and I called him upset all the time, and I didn't understand why. And today I understand why. And my birthday is April 17th. So that there's another part of that I just didn't understand what all this stuff meant and why it was meant for me. But it's not just meant for me. I share this with my guys, and I hope they get to share it with their guys, because these are the pages that saved me from doing stuff that I really wanted to do. And I just enjoy everything that I get to do today. And I don't have to think about drinking or drugging ever. I mean, I don't ever think about it. Um, I think about what it is that makes my brain think that drugs and alcohol are going to make anything better or funner. Like where in that does it? Because I know how I do stuff. I don't have a little bit and have fun. I do a lot and I ruin everything. So I don't want to do those things because I don't do them normally, right? So I don't want to get loaded anymore. I don't want to get drunk anymore. Um, Life is hard, but it's sure a lot better than what I was living before. That's all I got.
Thank you.